make it a coaster. Alright, I'm Kira and I'm here to teach you today how to knit. Okay, we're going to start our project now. I am going to make, let's see if we can switch this around so it's easier for everybody else. I'm going to make my slip knot. I'm going to put it on my needle and I'm going to start casting on my stitches here. If you need more detail, because I'm going to go fairly quickly, then you'll need to watch our other video on casting on. We'll just count them out now. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So that should be about enough. If you want it wider, you can do it. Now I'm going to start the knitting. All you have to do for this project is keep knitting back and forth across. Just go and go and go. Well, you have to knit it. You can't just slip it off. That would be nice, but it doesn't work that way. So here we go. I've got it on my needle, going in between, pulling it back off and off the left needle. And we will just start flying that way. If this is a problem, if you're not sure how to make a simple knit stitch, please watch our other video. We broke it down pretty small, but the problem I'm having right now, we've addressed in the other video, sometimes your needle will want to go in between. If you have that problem, if it's wanting to go through the yarn instead of in between them, bring your needle down in between and then just kind of guide it through in the middle. That helps a lot. Once you get past the first row, it usually goes a lot faster. The first row, I promise you, is almost always the hardest. Any knit project you start. We'll try another cast on method in another video. It's more complicated, but it actually makes that first row really easy. Whereas this is a simple cast on method, it does make getting your first knit row on there kind of a challenge. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go all the way across, then we're going to turn our needle around and go back. Okay, I'm 2 stitches away from the end. We're going to go ahead and finish it off and then we'll show you turning the needle. Here we go. Alright, don't need that one. I will put it in this hand and then turn this. Okay, I do this naturally without thinking about it. Sometimes your stitches will get turned like that. Try to keep it on the bottom if you can. It keeps it so that all your stitches are right there ready to go and you don't get confused or have twisted stitches. Alright, now we're going to start back right above, knit and go. And don't worry about speed if you're not fast. Speed will come. You'll get to the point where you don't even realize you're talking to people and knitting and not thinking about it. It'll just happen. But feel free to take your time. We're just going to go back and forth across these over and over and over again. Just like this. I'll slow down a little bit. Let you see. It's just a knit stitch. Very easy. I would encourage you, very much encourage you, please use cotton. They last longer, they're more durable, and I just think that they're more washable than even, like, say, the nylon stuff. So I would please encourage you to use cotton. Don't use anything with wool in it. Oh, it will shrink the first time you put it through. Last stitch underneath, just like all the other knit stitches. This one's done. Now see, I do have it turned here in my hand. I don't even think about it anymore, but what I do naturally is just kind of slide my thumb down and turn, because that puts all of the stitches right back where they're supposed to be. Okay, just like always, it's a knit stitch. You go under, you're going to go in between this little bump here, but underneath your top yarn there, and wrap around in between your 2 needles. They don't have to be crossed. I tend to do that just because it's in this hand. But you can actually hold them like this and still wrap it around. But you want to keep the needle in this hand. It will make things go faster. Bring your needle back, slide your stitch off, and keep knitting across that same way. This is just faster. Okay, so I've done 38 rows total, and now I'm going to show you how to bind off. So you're going to want to pick it up, and you're going to knit your first stitch and pull it off. You're going to knit a second stitch and pull it off. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go from the left to the right into the first stitch on your needle and pull it up over the second one. Okay? You're going to knit the next one, and we'll do the same thing. You're going to grab the first stitch that's on there, pull it up and over your second one. You knit the next one, just like you always have. Go from the left to the right, insert it, pull it up and over, and you can see it starting to just bind it off for us. So go a little bit slower. Okay, left to right, lift it up if you need to, and you can kind of pull down with this finger if you need to do that. Pull it off like this. Easy. Knit your next one, and I'm just going to go across the row. You can watch, it can go pretty quick once you get used to it. Take your time at first, don't feel like you need to rush. It's not worth stressing. I'm just going fast so that I can show you how to do the very last one. Okay. And that's what you're going to do all the way across. Knit one, take the first one, pull it over, knit, take the first one, pull it over. It was 14 stitches across and then 38 rows back and forth. You can do it larger, you can do it smaller, do what you want. But we wanted to get you a first easy project going. You could make it way more than 38 rows and go and make it a scarf. And then you can just have a simple but easy scarf to make. Maybe you're feeling cold. Alright, here's our last one. You're going to do just like you always have. You're going to pull it up and over. Then what you're going to do is you're going to cut your thread, pull it through your last loop, take a needle, and weave it through. So I'm going to show you. You can take your needles out, leave yourself a good loop so that you don't lose it. Cut your thread, pull this through. Okay, and now it's tight, it's closed, you can see, it's finished. Okay, now we're going to show you how to thread it in. It's really pretty simple. I'm just going to go through just back and forth and up and down so that it seals it off. And we'll go up this way and follow it back down over here. And then the way to make sure it doesn't come back out is to follow it back at some point. So I'm just coming back like that. Now I'm going to snip it. And now you can't see that I did it. And that's what you're also going to do with this bottom edge where you had your cast on. So I'll show you that. It's just the same thing, and when you're finished you have a complete square. Now you could do these squares and then eventually sew them all together to make an afghan too. So you can go crazy with this, or you can just enjoy something small and simple like a coaster. Here we go. Just bring it down through here. And there's no specific way to get this right or wrong. You can just follow it through however you want. Remember, the important thing is just to eventually work your way back so that the thread isn't likely to pull back out. So I will pull it through here, and then I will put it back so that it won't work itself back out, and I'll snip it. Make sure you always leave yourself a good tail so that you have plenty to work with. I didn't cut it quite short enough. Sometimes that happens. Just come back in, lay your scissors flat and do it again. And then there, it's finished.